Today we are looking at a game called Urban Empire. It's described as a mix of a city building game and a diplomacy simulator. You're chosen as the mayor of a town, and over the next 200 years or so, you grow that town into a city, shape its populace, while having to deal with historical events and managing your relationships and affiliations with a city council made of several political parties that decide whether or not you can actually do something. It's an interesting concept, as we rarely see in-depth diplomacy in video games, but as the developer's only game on Steam, what can we really expect? There are obviously two aspects of the game. You have the city building aspect and the diplomacy aspect. A lot of people expect the city building aspect of the game to be similar to City Skylines, SimCity, or Tropico, but it isn't. You oversee the development of the city at a higher level. You decide where districts will be placed, how much of that district is zoned for industrial, residential, or businesses, the infrastructure for that district, like a sewer system, the type of roads, and electricity, and public service buildings like schools, libraries, police stations, parks, etc. You don't decide where the roads will go, you don't decide which blocks are zoned for what type, so those of you who are expecting city building gameplay similar to the titles previously mentioned, that is not what you are going to get. There are a lot of Steam reviews not recommending this game for that specific reason. As for the diplomacy aspect of the game, every decision you make, including the development of the city, the taxes, and the city's laws and policies, all has to go through the city council. The city council itself isn't just a single entity. It's made up of several parties that are conservative, liberal, left, or right that come and go over time, which in turn have varying levels of members based on your city's populace. Their opinions are affected by a lot of things, like your previous decisions in the developments of the city, your decisions during random events, how you cater and treat the other parties, and the services you provide to the citizens that support them in the different districts. If you know a party is going to vote against you, you can do a number of things like try to reason with them, ask for a favor, or demand their support. Of course, everything you do to one party affects how the other parties see you. Just like in the real world, you can't please everyone. Your typical gameplay experience starts with picking a family coming from different political backgrounds, you choose the location of your city, and then you act as mayor for the city. The first district you pay for from personal funds you start with at the beginning of the game. When you place down a new district or modify them, it has to go through a vote by city council. Any new edicts, changes in taxes, or the placement of buildings owned by the city also have to go through a vote. If it isn't obvious already, you will spend a lot of time on this screen. As time goes on, you'll have to deal with several events. There are historical events, like a recession or the Great War, and there are random events, like someone gifting you a llama, invitations to dinner, inter-party conflicts, citizens complaining about the number of vagrants in the city, and council members assaulting each other. There's a huge variation on things that can happen, and your decisions affect both the people who live in the city and the opinion the various political parties in the city council have of you. As time goes on, you'll research new technology, the character you'll play as will switch to other family members, and opinions of various topics will change over time. I've played through the game a few times, and each time I noticed several similar votes come out different ways, even though I had played similarly in each playthrough. The events that can happen are so random, and there are a ton of factors that go into how each party feels. If you're looking for a traditional city building game, this isn't it. This is more for people who find diplomacy interesting, as it's the more fleshed out aspect of the game. If you do decide to pick this game up, do yourself a favor and pay attention to the tutorial, as the game is extremely complicated. And even then, expect your city not to do well even with the tutorial activated. I played with the tutorial on twice, failed both times, and it wasn't until I experimented with several playstyles that I had a prospering city. Let me know what you think about this game in the comments below. My name is Phunky, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.